Good evening, and welcome to Crossfire Opinions, our weekly program dedicated to dissecting contentious contemporary issues. Tonight, we delve into a topic that sparks considerable debate in communities worldwide: public surveillance cameras. Are they a vital instrument for ensuring our security, or do they represent an unacceptable and insidious invasion of our personal privacy? To help us navigate these complex questions, we have two distinguished guests with divergent perspectives. First, Dr. Evelyn Hayes, a respected criminologist who supports the judicious use of such technology for crime prevention, and Mr. Liam Chen, a prominent human rights lawyer who harbors significant concerns about their proliferation and potential for misuse. We'll begin with opening statements from each of our guests, followed by a structured discussion, and we will conclude with their closing remarks. Dr. Hayes, if you would please begin.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss this pertinent issue. While I fully understand and indeed acknowledge the concerns that are frequently voiced regarding privacy, we must engage in a balanced consideration of the substantial societal benefits that public surveillance cameras offer. Their visible presence in public spaces acts as a significant deterrent to a wide range of criminal activities, from petty theft to more serious offenses. Potential offenders are often less likely to act if they know their actions are being recorded. Furthermore, when crimes unfortunately do occur, the footage captured by these cameras provides invaluable, objective evidence. This evidence is absolutely crucial for thorough investigations and for the successful prosecution of those responsible. Modern advancements in camera technology, including high-resolution imaging and improved low-light capabilities, have only amplified their effectiveness. This allows for clearer identification of suspects and a more proactive approach to ensuring public safety. The responsible and ethical implementation of this technology is, in my professional view, a crucial component of maintaining a secure and well-functioning society. In such a society, the collective safety and security of the many must, at times, carefully outweigh more narrowly defined apprehensions about privacy, particularly in public spaces where expectations of privacy are inherently lower. This is not about abandoning privacy, but about striking a pragmatic balance.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes. Mr. Chen, your opening statement, please.
Thank you, David. I appreciate the opportunity to present an alternative viewpoint on this critical matter. The proliferation of public surveillance cameras, however well-intentioned the motives behind their installation might be, represents a significant and deeply concerning infringement upon our fundamental right to privacy. This isn't a minor inconvenience. It's a substantive erosion of a cornerstone of democratic freedom. The knowledge that one is constantly being watched, recorded, and potentially scrutinized creates a pervasive chilling effect on public life. This subtly, yet powerfully, discourages legitimate forms of public expression, including peaceful assembly and protest, which are vital for a healthy democracy. Beyond this, there exists a considerable and demonstrable risk of the vast amounts of data collected by these cameras being misused. We must consider the potential for disproportionate state monitoring, for the unwarranted tracking of individuals without due cause or suspicion, or even for discriminatory purposes based on profiling. Moreover, the empirical evidence supporting cameras as a uniquely effective crime deterrent is not as robust or conclusive as is often claimed by proponents. Alternative strategies, such as community-oriented policing, investment in social programs, and addressing the socio-economic root causes of crime, can be far more impactful in the long term. These methods can achieve positive results without the profound sacrifice of our civil liberties. We are, I fear, sleepwalking into a pervasive surveillance society without fully considering the irreversible long-term consequences for individual freedom and societal trust.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Dr. Hayes, Mr. Chen raises a crucial point about the actual deterrent effect and questions its robustness. How do you respond to the argument that the impact of cameras is often overstated, and that resources might be better allocated elsewhere?
That's a fair question, but I believe it frames the issue as an either-or situation, which is not accurate. While no single measure can ever hope to eradicate crime entirely, numerous studies and a wealth of anecdotal evidence from law enforcement agencies globally demonstrate the tangible utility of CCTV. This utility is evident in both deterring opportunistic crimes, those committed on impulse where a visible camera can tip the balance, and in providing crucial, often irreplaceable, leads in complex investigations. Consider the number of high-profile cases, from abductions to terrorist incidents, where CCTV footage was the key to identifying perpetrators and understanding the sequence of events. This isn't mere speculation. It's documented fact. The argument isn't that cameras are a panacea or that they stop all crime, but that they demonstrably assist in managing criminal activity, solving cases, and ultimately bringing offenders to justice. It's about adding effective layers of security, and cameras form an indispensable layer, particularly in densely populated public areas, transport hubs, and commercial zones where the risk of certain crimes is elevated.
Mr. Walker, Mr. Chen, Dr. Hayes points to the utility in solving crimes and their role as a layer of security. Is there a point where this demonstrable benefit outweighs the privacy concerns you've outlined, especially perhaps in designated high-crime areas, where residents might even request such measures?
The occasional high-profile success story in solving a crime is often, and I believe misleadingly, used to justify the implementation of widespread, indiscriminate surveillance networks. The core issue, which often gets glossed over, is the persistent lack of robust, genuinely independent oversight mechanisms. Who watches the watchers? This is not just a rhetorical question. Where is this enormous volume of sensitive data stored? For how long? Who has access? Under what criteria? And what are the penalties for misuse? Without stringent, legally binding regulations and transparent operational protocols, the potential for abuse, whether by state actors or even through unauthorized access by malicious third parties, is immense and ever-present. Furthermore, placing entire communities, particularly those already marginalized or over-policed, under constant surveillance can significantly erode trust between citizens and authorities. It can foster a sense of alienation and resentment, rather than cooperation. We need to rigorously question if we are merely treating symptoms with a technological fix, rather than addressing the underlying causes of crime and at what ultimate cost to our fundamental freedoms and the very nature of our society.
Let's talk about regulation and the rapid advancements in emerging technologies, such as facial recognition software. Dr. Hayes, how can we ensure these increasingly powerful tools are used responsibly and ethically, rather than becoming instruments of oppression or error?
Responsible and ethical use is absolutely paramount. I cannot stress this enough. This isn't about giving technology a free pass. It's about intelligent governance. This means establishing clear, comprehensive legal frameworks that define permissible uses and, equally important, impermissible uses of surveillance technologies. We need stringent data protection protocols, incorporating principles like data minimization, collecting only what is necessary, and purpose limitation, using data only for the specific reason it was collected. Transparency in how surveillance systems are deployed and operated is also crucial for public trust. Citizens have a right to know, in general terms, where cameras are located and why. Technologies like facial recognition, while undoubtedly powerful and carrying risks, can be invaluable in specific, narrowly defined circumstances. For example, in rapidly finding missing children or vulnerable adults, or in identifying known terrorists or dangerous fugitives in crowded public spaces. The key is not to shy away from technological advancement due to fear, but to proactively develop robust ethical guidelines and strong legal safeguards in tandem with the technology's evolution. We need to ensure accountability at every level and prevent misuse through independent oversight bodies with real teeth and clear, consistently applied operational guidelines for law enforcement and other authorized users.
Mr. Chen, with these advancing technologies like AI-driven analytics and facial recognition becoming more integrated with surveillance systems, are your concerns about a, quote, surveillance society becoming even more acute? Do you believe effective regulation is truly possible?
Absolutely, my concerns are significantly heightened. The convergence of ubiquitous cameras with AI-powered analytics, particularly sophisticated facial recognition systems, creates an unprecedented and frankly alarming potential for mass surveillance and social sorting on a scale previously unimaginable. The idea of responsible use often struggles to keep pace with the sheer speed of technological capabilities and, critically, the institutional appetite for data collection and analysis. We are in the process of creating a permanent, searchable, digital record of public life. Every movement, every association, every interaction in a public space can be logged, stored indefinitely, and retrospectively analyzed. This data can then be potentially used against individuals in ways we cannot yet fully comprehend, for purposes far removed from the initial justification of crime prevention. Think about the implications for journalistic sources, for political dissidents, or even for ordinary citizens who might inadvertently fit a flawed algorithmic profile. The safeguards that are often discussed, such as oversight committees or data protection laws, while well-intentioned, frequently prove insufficient to counter the inherent risks posed by such powerful, pervasive, and often opaque technology. The danger of a society where anonymity in public becomes a forgotten relic, where every citizen is a potential suspect, is very real and growing daily.
We are approaching the end of our discussion. Mr. Chen, would you please provide your closing statement?
Certainly. In conclusion, while the allure of achieving greater security through pervasive surveillance is undeniably understandable, particularly in an often unpredictable world, we must not so readily trade away our fundamental and hard-won right to privacy. The constant, systematic monitoring of public spaces does more than just record. It normalizes surveillance. It subtly conditions citizens to accept observation as a default state, creating a society where individuals are inherently less free, more easily controlled, and potentially subject to the chilling effects of error, bias, and outright abuse of power. A truly secure society, in my conviction, is one that robustly respects and upholds civil liberties, fosters mutual trust between the state and its citizens, and addresses the root causes of insecurity, not one built upon the shaky foundations of pervasive observation and suspicion. We urgently need a far more critical and widespread public conversation about the ethical boundaries and societal limits of surveillance. Furthermore, we must demand much stronger, independently verifiable, and enforceable protections before we find our essential freedoms irrevocably diminished, piece by piece.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Dr. Hayes, your closing statement, please.
Thank you. To conclude, public surveillance cameras, when implemented responsibly, ethically, and within a strong legal framework, are an indispensable tool for maintaining public safety, order, and for fostering a sense of security within our communities. They act as a clear deterrent to certain types of criminal behavior, provide critical evidence that assists in bringing offenders to justice, and offer reassurance to the wider community that public spaces are being monitored for their protection. The concerns raised about privacy are valid and must always be taken seriously. However, these concerns can and should be addressed through robust regulation, complete transparency in deployment and operation, and strict, independent oversight mechanisms. The objective is not and should never be unchecked mass surveillance, but rather the strategic, intelligence-led use of technology to protect citizens from harm and to ensure accountability for criminal actions. The tangible benefits for crime prevention, effective investigation, and overall public welfare simply cannot be dismissed in our increasingly complex modern world. It's about finding that crucial balance.
Thank you both, Dr. Hayes and Mr. Chen, for a truly compelling and insightful discussion this evening. It's abundantly clear that navigating the delicate balance between ensuring public safety and upholding individual privacy rights remains a complex and ongoing challenge for societies everywhere. We sincerely hope this debate has provided our audience with valuable perspectives and food for thought to consider as this important conversation continues. Thank you for joining us on Crossfire Opinions. Good evening.